cracking, y'all? You're now rocking with Sport and Convos with Eddie and Mike. It's me, Mike. I'm here with my guy.
Eddie P.
We had a nice show for y'all. A couple of topics. Definitely going to talk about the Commanders. Their Monday night loss in the preseason. It's the worst thing that ever happened to the franchise. I can't believe it. I don't know how we're going to recover from it.
Sky's falling.
I'm joking. Obviously. Speaking of the sky falling, the Vikings cheerleader scandal, it kind of rocked the NFL, or at least social media this weekend. We definitely going. I mean, not this weekend. This week, we're definitely going to talk about that, and in the show with some baseball minor league talk, but it's definitely Nationals related. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's definitely Nationals related. But you'll see when we talk about it. It's a pretty interesting story. I must say so myself. But we're going to actually start the show talking about a topic that's, I ain't going to lie, it's near and dear to my heart too. Go ahead, Eddie. Take it off, bro.
I mean, it's quite simple. You know, we both are big sports fans, and I guess depending on how you look at it, unfortunately, we're not going to the pros, but we love sports just the same. And that all starts at typically a young age. You're introduced to it one way or another, whether it's your parents or family or maybe a friend, a neighbor, whoever. This topic specifically is kind of sparked, and I'm going to do my best to keep it together. My mom's birthday was just a few days ago, and she's been passed for a few years now. And I just always think of her like anybody would, but I oftentimes have these little memories, these little I don't even want to call it a squirrel moment, a flashback. And a lot of times they're sports related because that was my world. And the amount of times that she would have these exasperated opinions about how much money NFL players are making. And then here I am running to their defense and saying, well, you don't understand. The owners are making even more. And that number you see is kind of a farce because they don't get all of it and it's taxed and blah, blah, blah. And I miss those convos. But I just assumed that this would probably be one of the more relatable topics we'd have. Everybody has parents, and I understand that we're not all fortunate enough to have both our parents or even one of our parents in some cases. And in some cases, those that do have it, it's still not great. So I'm sorry if that takes you down the wrong alley. But for those of us who had one good one or two good ones, I'm sure there was a time where they were helping you get ready for game day, and they were, giving you some good advice, cheering you on. And I have a lot of fond memories of not just because I maybe had a good game or scored a goal, won a match, but that I was able to celebrate it with family. And my mom, bless her heart, she didn't know anything about sport. I mean, she knew some, but not like my dad did. And
Yeah.
it was obviously different conversations between the two because dad was a lot more serious and a lot more Mr. Get Bad, whereas mom was, have fun and, moral victories and sorts. And I just thought that this would be a good topic, being a little selfish, obviously, but I thought it'd be a good topic for anybody who might be in my situation, or maybe your parents are still here and you just want to have just a good little jog down memory lane. Um, one of my favorites, and I when I called you to talk to you about us potentially doing this subject, and I can hear the tone now, and I'm going to do my best to emulate it. There are times we'll use pass interference in football as an example, but you can any foul in any sport, anytime someone mugs someone, I'll never forget. Guy was going across the middle, and the defensive player got there a little early and hit him. And they show the replay, and here's my mom. Hey, she had a reaction as though this is a person walking down the street and someone just like shoved them for no reason. And my dad and I are trying to explain, like, hey mom, they got shoulder pads and helmets on, like they're trying to hit each other. And so it was one of those things where kind of much like I'm doing right now, I was trying to turn tears into some form of joy. But I've talked way too long on this, Mike. I'm sure you have something to add.
Nah, I appreciate that, bro. Definitely enjoy hearing those stories. I always enjoy you hear you take. Blah, blah. I always enjoy hearing you talk about your folks. They definitely seem like they were some good, chill folks, such as yourself. Um, with me, is really like our entire family kind of was engulfed in sports one way or another. Rather it be me, I'm playing sports growing up, watching sports. I always enjoy watching it more than playing it and talking about it. Uh, I know people like, oh yeah, I bet you're a big lazy, but did enjoy it. I was good at sports too. Like me not making it in the pros had nothing to do with talent, physical talent. It was more like mental things or whatever. But like I consume sports, and I think because of my passion for the sports, especially Redskins, it kind of spread it out to the family. But then my sisters, they started having kids, and their kids started playing sports, which means that they really had to get more into it so they can understand what their kids are doing. My sister, she got deeper into sports when she got with her husband. He's a sports fanatic, definitely a big inspiration for my sports fandom. He always encouraged me about sports talk, and he was like the first one that told me I'm timid when I'm talking about sports, and I need to get out there and
Say
be more aggressive.
it with your
Haven't,
chest.
I really haven't learned the lesson yet. Well, sometimes I do. Sometimes I snap and I go crazy. But if you notice, like I mentioned a lot of people, and there's still more people that I haven't mentioned.
Sure.
Like my cousin Calvin, he was in the sports like that. Great shooter. I always mention Sam on the sports podcast. He'll be on here one day, I'm sure. Um, he was another inspiration for me when it comes to sports. My parents, though, my mother, she can follow it. She definitely knows some rules. Is she a fanatic? I would say so. She loves the Redskins. She definitely loves the Commanders. She lives in between Nats Park and Audi Field, so she kind of has to follow a lot of the other teams, even though she probably doesn't want to.
It's in her
But because
backyard.
yeah, it's literally in the backyard. Of course, literally, figuratively speaking, but still. And as far as big man, that's my father. Um, I know he was a Redskins fan, and that's probably about it. We really didn't talk about nothing like that, honestly. And there's no fault to him. Like it was what it was. But I do know that he had a passion for the Redskins too. And one of my favorite early stories in my life, we were watching the Redskins Lions game, and Darrell Green caught a pick six to win the game in overtime, I think. That was that's definitely a core memory for me, and him being there definitely makes it even better. Like it's one of the few games I can remember actually watching with my father. But yeah, sports and my family is pretty huge, and um, my nephews, they're talking about starting a podcast now,
Hmm.
and doing sports edits and stuff like that. Like um, you can say that our family, we're a bunch of sports heads. We'll watch the boxing events. Matter of fact, we're watching the Canelo Crawford fight over my sister's house, and probably going to mess around and watch the Tank Davis Jake Paul fight. Um, that's coming up soon, I'm for sure. So yeah, when it comes to sports in our family, like I said, it's pretty big, and I do feel like I'm not trying to toot my own horn or nothing, but because of my passion for it, it does kind of bleed out to the rest of the family. But they appreciate me for that though. Like I really feel like they love me not only for my technology and stuff, but the sports. They love me for my sports knowledge too, and of course they love me just for me. But like they know when it comes to sports, like even sports that I might not talk about here on the show or follow as much, they know that I might know something about the sport. So I appreciate them for instilling, like, they're an inspiration for me too. Like everybody in my family, even my little nephew, my youngest nephew, he loves basketball. He plays basketball a lot, and yeah, it's just I'll say this, especially for everybody that has kids. Like sports is that one unifying factor that just
Absolutely.
does so much to bless a life. And I wish I did play more of it when I was younger. But that's my message to all the parents and young folks out there. Like, be active, play sports
For
a
sure.
lot, even during the summertime when you're not in the gym. Find you a sport, find you a physical activity, keep playing it as long as you can. Just trust me on that. It'll make your life so much better if you keep playing, keep moving, never stop. Even if you think you might like, even if you think you may not make the pros, look at people like Savannah Bananas, Lethal Shooter, the Professor, the And One Tour, um, the Harlem Globetrotters. Like it's other ways to make money other than the professional and sports. So you never know. You
Yeah.
never know. And that's Eddie and Mike's um that's Eddie and Mike's family and sports topic, brought to you by Johnson. No, I'm joking.
Wow. Yeah, I would just throw one last bit out there that
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
constantly am telling my daughter now. So I'm sure those who are parents and your kids play sports, you're kind of you're on the other side of the spectrum now, but the amount of travel and just dedicating that little bit of free time when my parents were working all day or it was the weekend. And I'm here to tell you, wrestling meets they go all day and they're not always close. To be honest, a lot of times they're far away. So big shout out to my parents. But anyway, what I was getting at with all that free time, my daughter constantly would get upset about having to go to practice, having to go to game just that particular day. She might not want to, I don't know. But I would say to her what my parents would say to me is that you made a commitment. And so this is like what you said, it was unifying. There were life lessons, there were things that could be applied to things outside of sports. But the point is, if you said you would be there, you said you would be part of the team and you would participate, you would contribute, then that's what you're going to do. And if the next year you don't want to do it, that's fine. We'll find something else for you to do. And just to, I'm sorry to keep going, but just a little bit more here. It started off for me that my parents and this is about to kind of make me look like a loser, but that's okay. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I didn't have a lot of friends at all. Like uh, anybody
I
that
might consider you the lucky one, but
yeah,
I digress.
yeah, but I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. Anybody that would fit into the friend category was either a family member or we had the same babysitter when I was much younger, things of that nature. So it was a way to meet people and make friends. And then as I got older and I had a few friends, and none of them were bad people in any way when I say what I'm about to say, but they would get into a little trouble here and there. And me being a little precocious, a little naive, my parents didn't want me just kind of wandering around with them. Even though that's all I wanted to do was be with my buddies on my skateboard trying to go pro. And so the deal was I had to play sports. And once I got older, it was kind of explained to me that I couldn't get in trouble if I was at practice. I couldn't get in trouble if I was at the game. So that's just one more way that sports can really help out in life. And I'm forever thankful. And anybody who listens to this, please go to your parents and thank them for all the times they took you somewhere, all the times they bought you new shoes, new cleats, new gloves, or whatever the equipment was for that necessary sport. Thank them. And mom and dad, I miss you so much, but thank you. I don't know what I'd be if I didn't play sports because you guys can't really see it, but I'm in a room filled with sports memorabilia. That's kind of where this took a turn with me being so big and having sports influenced into me so much.
Maybe one day I'll produce a segment called Eddie's Basement, and we'll just go over all your bobbleheads and memorabilia.
How much time you got? But yeah, mom and
YouTube.
dad's everywhere. Thank you guys, the real MVPs, all of you, every
Nah, shout out to the Pickerins for real. I'm grateful for them. Even
shout out to the Pirates. You guys did an amazing job. Your son's
uh,
a saint.
they all right. They all right. It's like no, but moving on to more traditional sports talk. The Commanders wrapped up their training camp today, and they had a mini participant, I would say. My guy Terry McLaurin, along with Noah Brown, they were at practice today. That's important because we haven't seen either one of them. Noah Brown wasn't necessarily flying under the radar, but his injury was definitely overshadowed by Terry McLaurin's
Oh,
contract
yeah.
situation. So the fact that we saw both of them at the same time, it means that they're getting ramped up, and both should be able to go in week one, I would assume, based on everything that I've seen. They're getting ready for the preseason finale on Saturday versus the Ravens. I don't expect any, if many, starters to play, and yeah, it's been a fun month. I would say, Eddie,
I think so.
it's been a really fun month. I can honestly say one of the better training camps that I
Oh
can
yeah.
remember following. Um, no injuries, no big injuries. Thank God. Um, it had a drama with Terry
Yeah.
McLaurin's contract situation. It had a plot twist with Brian Robinson. Nobody expected that at the beginning of the training camp.
Ben Standing expected it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You had breakout stars like Trey Amos and Bill Krosky Merritt.
Oh yeah.
Um, you had some redemption stories with Kinlaw, and you got old vets like Sages, like veterans like Wagner,
Von
Ertz,
Miller.
Von Miller. Um, yeah, it's been a good camp, and how can we not mention our leading director and producer Adam Peters and Dan Quinn, um, even from a distance. And I haven't been to a training camp or anything this season, but just from a distance, just based on all the media interviews or whatever, I can honestly say from top to bottom, phenomenal job
Yeah.
from everyone involved, from ownership to the reporters to the fans. You all did a great job this training camp, and I'm grateful and appreciative for all the information, all the tweets, all the laughs, all the podcasts. Like, I had a blast the last month, and I feel like I'm really prepared for the season. And saying all of that, um, I'll let you get your thoughts off. But here's what I'm gonna do. After you finish getting your thoughts off, I'm gonna challenge you to
Uh-oh.
tell me the things that you're worried about when it comes to the Commanders, and I'm gonna tell you why you probably shouldn't be so worried.
Okay. All right. So first off, you mentioned B Rob, and I couldn't help but thinking, especially after that touchdown run that Bill Krosky Merritt had, he almost, don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing style or anything like that. But remember B Rob in that game, that preseason game, I think they were playing the Panthers or maybe the Colts, and B Rob looked really good. Right? I swear to God, Krosky Merritt is it's like a full circle thing. Like B Rob is getting B Rob now. B Robbed. Like Krosky Merritt is like the new guy looking good in preseason and everything. I mean, obviously, I'm hoping he doesn't get shot, but what I'm saying is, in general, there's sort of like a full like a simulation. What I don't know, some sort of like mirror image kind of thing. Not with playing style, but just the fact new young guy that got drafted comes on the scene, kind of hitting the ground running, looking good, playing wise, that is, you know. And yeah, another thing, and I've been thinking this, it's like it's been in the back of my brain, but like I didn't verbalize it or actually come to the realization that it's going on. We've been talking about Terry this whole time and everything. a small silver lining and blessing is Debo and Jaden getting to build chemistry together while Terry's gone. And same, you could throw Noah Brown's injury there too. I'm not saying it's good that either one of those guys is missing action or is in the situation they're in. Certainly not. But there is a small benefit where Debo is able to get some more looks, build up a quicker chemistry with Jaden Daniels going in. I think it's fantastic. Um, I'll tell you who I'm kind of psyched for, and I swear my mind was blown when they mentioned this during the preseason game. Is Josh Johnson. I think he's going to be our third string. I think he's beaten out old Sam. Is it Hartman? I don't know why I can't remember his last name. It's like if you asked me for like a
Yeah,
million
I don't
bucks,
know either. How
I always want to say Eastman or like some other
like
like
he was like I could see if he went to a weird school. He was the Notre Dame quarterback. You
I hear
tripping,
you,
bro?
dude. I no
Though
excuses.
I cannot tell you the Irish's current quarterback. So
Neither can I.
continue.
Well, anyway, what blew my mind about Josh Johnson is those of you who remember back when Jay Gruden was the coach and we were playing the Jaguars, who were actually really good at the time as opposed to what's going on right now, and we beat them. That was Josh Johnson's first professional win. He's been in the NFL forever and pretty much played for like 90% of the teams, throw in a few like USFL and Canadian League teams as well. The dude is he's a he's a rolling stone for sure as far as the NFL is concerned. Um, but I didn't realize that like I thought for sure he had a win somewhere else. Like when he played, not as like a backup who didn't touch the field. But yeah, and I thought he looked pretty good in preseason. I get that he's much more seasoned and experienced than some of the guys he's playing against might not have been and might not even make the team that he was playing against. But still, I thought he looked good. I thought, honestly, I thought our team looked really good in a lot of ways. But I will save the where I was most concerned with the second part with what you're saying. So that's where I'm at. I liked what I'm seeing. And I'll tell you really just to echo what you said with Peters and Quinn and Hog Ownership Group. We talked about patience many times. I specifically have talked about patience from the fan base. They might have set themselves up in a roundabout way. And this is going to be a good thing. You see what I'm saying? But they might have set themselves up here. The job they have done is nothing short of amazing. And I just worry that the minute they have like a hiccup, that the fan base might not know how to react because they've done such a great job, like in terms of expectation. Um, and I think it's just great. This whole thing that's going on with Terry, the way it's been handled. Dan Quinn, he slides in like a little joke there, but then like he at least was as transparent as you would expect someone to be when they can't really tell you everything from a strategic standpoint. But he's like, I'm not playing Where's Waldo. He's like, when Terry's here, he'll be here. We want him here. Like he said the thing that everybody's pretty much thinking of. Same with Cliff Kingsbury. He's saying he needs Terry in so many words, but like they understand. And the best part is, Terry and his camp are starting to kind of look bad here, in my opinion, especially with him not showing up to the preseason game, but that's just a personal opinion. If this were the Snyder regime, they would have leaked something out to make him look bad. You hear nothing. We don't know. The only way we know about what's being offered are from some leaks, and even those, it's like this might be what they offered, or this might be, and that's from Terry's side. Peters and Commanders Group, they're not saying a word, and that's the night and day difference. So I don't like losing, but they're preseason games, so is what it is to me. Daniels looked good on the drive he was in. Thought it was funny. The only pass he threw was an underhand shuffle to Krosky Merritt to give him the ball he scored with from the ref. Man didn't throw a single pass, and that's fine by me.
I was like, what pass you talking about?
No,
I get you
ironically,
though.
they almost lost that ball. I don't know if anybody who's watching, I'm sure you saw it because they showed it on my TV. You got the one guy on the sideline with like the vest that has like bags on it, and he carries all the balls that are used in the game. And somehow they had to figure out which one was which. And then turns out the ref on the field still had it. Usually they kind of throw different balls in and out of the games based on what happens. So Jaden goes and gets it, hurls the ball at Krosky Merritt underhand style. The announcers even said they're like, that's the only pass he's thrown all game.
Speaking of him, though, I looked at a end zone view of the touchdown scramble that he had, bruh. People are so pressed to like be negative and critical and all that stuff. Do I agree with him scrambling? Nah, I wouldn't have done it if I was in his shoes. But I'm not Jaden Daniels, and he said he played football, so hey, it is what it is. But as far as number 27 and 29 for the Bengals having a shot on them, you look at that end zone camera view, they had no shot. They had no shot. He basically juked number 27.
Yeah.
And when he juked number 27, he juked him so bad that he got in the path of number 29, who had to hop over another teammate, and he wasn't going to be able to hit him. Like if he did, it was going to be a late hit like a mug. So
I think what you're getting at is that depth
that's what
perception exists, and from the live angle, it looked like the defenders might have pulled up a little bit and given him a pass. But to what you're saying, there are other angles that would suggest differently. This happens to
the pull-ups were forced by him.
Yeah, because he made listen, my buddies and I have like a little joke here. It kind of dates back to like playing Madden and FIFA, and you push a button and something doesn't happen. Um, I'm sure everybody has these very Seinfeld-like kind of things that happen where you coin a phrase and attach it to somebody, and it's now a joke. Jaden made a move. That's our little phrase there. Like, I made a move. Jaden made a move, and that's why they didn't hit him, because if you look at the angle Mike's talking about, they can't defy gravity. Those guys don't have infinity stones or any other powers to like be in a place that they aren't. So that's why no problem there. Also, yeah, like as far as Jaden scrambling, or I've seen videos of like that one Eagles fan who's always like, I think it's a bit, and that's fine. He's trying to get views, but he's like, oh, of course he's going to scramble. Well, yeah, I'm not going to get mad if I see a kangaroo in Australia, and then I'm not going to get mad if I see that kangaroo in Australia hopping, right? And you go, oh, well, I bet he can't swim in the ocean. Oh, I bet he can't. But you know what the difference is? Jaden Daniels can do both. Jaden Daniels is that kangaroo that can swim in the
That's
ocean.
what I was about to say. He's a passer first.
He
Like
absolutely.
if you notice, he waited so long before he like took off. He was like, "Oh, he's not
That's
open."
what made it brilliant.
Now, to
Is that
us, it might not seem like that long. To
he
us,
was
it probably
reads.
was only like 2 seconds. But yeah, like you said, he read them in 2 seconds. You can do that.
And what's he getting all this credit for is that he actually does a good job when he comes to the line of scrimmage or reading defenses. So he probably already had an idea, a good idea at that, of who was going to be where. So if you look, he did a read or two, kept his feet moving, turned his shoulders a little bit, and he went essentially right up the middle, but he didn't just run immediately. He allowed that sort of pocket to form and then kind of collapse. He stepped up. He made some juke moves. Ah, I mean, he kind of broke a tackle, bounced off one sort of. That's a little iffy because it was an arm tackle, but it still was. Yeah, I have like no problem with any of that. I thought the way they moved the ball down the field, I thought everything was great. You got to assume it should hopefully get better as the starters play more and Terry and Noah Brown return. So yeah, shout out to Jaden. Seems like he's maybe added a few lbs, not a lot, but a few. He's trying. Young kid like that probably still got a high metabolism. So
Yeah, man, he put on weight, but he's still so slim, man. I was
the
looking
man
at
is constantly moving. Like look at him on the sideline. He ain't really like he's standing there, but he's always like looking around, move like he don't stay still.
all right. Your three top biggest concerns heading into the season, and I'm gonna tell you. Matter of fact, I'll give you a score on a scale of 1 to 10 of how concerned you actually
Like a
should be
severity,
about that.
a level
Yeah,
of
the severity. That's a great word.
the severity scorecard. All right. Um, I do an easy one, kind of a layup one, but I tell you, man, what was our guy's name? Danny Smith, the guy that went to Pittsburgh. I'm missing him, man.
Hmm.
Special teams. Highly concerned about special teams, Michael. Highly.
I'll actually give you a 7 on that. Until we see him in the regular season, the concern is valid. Even on Monday, they did play better on special teams. Matt Gay didn't miss a kick. The coverage was much better, but one return still did get out there. And you could easily say, well, Mike, the starters aren't out there, so of course things are going to not look too pristine. And I'm going to tell you, like, even still, the fact that they gave up multiple in the first game and
Yeah.
still gave up another one in the second game, it means that it's an issue. And
Oh,
until we see otherwise, I'm going to give it a 7.
yeah. I don't. That kind of talk kind of pisses me off, and that's not necessarily directed at you, but like wait for the starters. I understand the same as there's starters on offense and defense. There are people who play during the regular season games versus preseason. Those guys are trying to make the team. But I don't buy that. That oh well, like it's different because when the regular season starts, then we'll be serious. Why aren't we being serious now? I don't care about winning preseason, but I also care about doing things the right way. It's like that adage where like if you do what the coach says and it doesn't work, they'll still be happy because 9 times out of 10, it's gonna work. I fully believe that. And I'll also go a step further. I kind of feel like a lot of times now, look, there's exceptions. Guys like Devin Hester, sometimes they're just going to win because they're just that much of a buzzsaw. But I feel like when you look at special teams, that's a choice. That's hey, I'm going to choose to do the right thing here to give the maximum amount of effort. I'm going to choose to just throw my body into. I know the wedge doesn't really exist anymore, but I'm going to choose to throw my body and to take the wedge out so that some of the guys behind me can run through it and make a tackle, make a play. It's that kind of stuff that we need. That we've been on that sort of change climbing up the hill, and we are like really close to getting to the top, but this could be one of the things that dooms us, I'm telling you, because a play like that, it can be. Think back to god, going down memory lane often here. Think back to that Arizona Cardinals Chicago Bears game, the infamous Denny Green. We let them off the hook. They are who we thought they were. Do you know how that game got turned
That
around?
point.
Evan Hester Devin
Mm-hmm.
Hester kick and punt returns is what really turned that game around. The Cardinals came out lights on fire. They were lights on fire, lights out. I don't even know what I'm saying. They came out lights out, moving the ball down the field, getting some touchdowns. And we're talking guys like Matt Leinart, no disrespect, but it wasn't, Kurt Warner throwing to Larry Fitzgerald or anything. Um, and they're moving the ball down the field, they're making plays, but some big kick returns, they happened. Those points count. And that got the Bears all fired up on their sideline. That's the last thing we need. I mean, it was a fluke one based on the situation, but think about the Dallas game when Terry makes that catch. And I understand it had already gone to S because the kicker missed the extra point, but then we try the onside kick, they get it, run it right back for a touchdown. It wasn't just the points. It was how it happened that just completely deflated the team. And that can happen in any situation in any game. But I mean, it didn't happen in the Super Bowl either, but think about what a momentum swing it would have been for New England in that 28-3 comeback against the Falcons if they had got a kick return for a touchdown or a punt return. You don't think that would
But
have
they ain't even need neither one of them drinks.
I hear you. But what I mean is it's the spark that lights the flame. That's what I'm getting at. And that could be
It's
something.
such a the reason I hate it because it's such a mundane play 95% of the time, but that 5% literally changes games. So yeah, like
I mean,
it
you want to
isn't.
be great? Do you want to live forever? Make some plays, even if it's on special. Steve Tasker, you know who that is, right?
Yeah, familiar with them. Some
Special
ice kicker.
player for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know who you're talking
Wide
about.
receiver, I'm pretty sure. And he just would run down the field and make tackles on punt and kick return. And pretty much everybody on the planet knows who he is. He's like Kurt
Earl
Rambis.
Davis.
People only so many people know who that is. That dude played with the Showtime Lakers.
Oh yeah, Kurt
Good
Rambis. You said.
player, but what did he do? Whatever they needed him to do because Magic, Kareem, and James Worthy were going to do all the fun stuff like scoring points and passing or whatever. Kurt's like, hey, I'll stay in my lane. That's all
All
I
right,
need some of these guys to do.
real quick before we move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
The reason people
We talk
really need to shut up about like championships when it comes to comparing one player to two players,
sure.
because you just brought up Kurt Rambis. I could bring up Rick Mahorn for the Pistons.
Yep.
Um, Rick Fox,
Absolutely.
Robert Horry for the
Yeah.
Lakers.
Yes.
Um,
Role players are
David
important.
Lee for the Warriors. Like I could think of a lot of role players for a lot of different sports, and it just goes to show you like you need
Yes.
cohesiveness, you need pieces, and
Absolutely.
that's what I've been trying to teach Philly fans this entire off season, but they refuse to listen, and I think
And
it's ended up with them getting their feelings hurt. No pun intended when it's talking about Hurts because they keep trying to put him in this elite category, and we like
nope. Nope.
no. Like y'all have a great team, like a historic team. We're
Running
not
back,
putting
two good
Hurts. We're not
receivers,
putting
good
Hurts
O
in the top
line, good
five
defense.
just because the team is that good. But anyway, I digress. What else you got for me?
Um, I give you another one. You'll probably give it a lower score, but I think this is a concern for everyone, every
Yeah, I
team.
think special teams might be the most concerning thing right now.
Health,
So good luck.
health,
Health
health concern.
5, a solid 5.
Yeah,
Because we don't know what's going on with Noah Brown or
yeah.
Terry McLaurin. They just came out the PUP list. Cosme, he might not start the season.
Oh, I
Uh,
don't think he will. He went down late. What was it? It wasn't that the Lions game or was it the Bucks game?
yeah, but I mean, Dan Quinn is saying like he's hitting all the markers, and I'm like, I understand that, but we're still only talking about 9 months on a 12-month injury.
That's where I'm at. Don't rush him back. I like.
So,
I want the best guys protecting Jaden Daniels. Trust me. You want the best glass
but
casing you can buy to put over top of that Fabergé egg. And I'm not calling him fragile. Not calling
no,
Jaden
I
Daniels
get it.
fragile. I'm just saying Fabergé egg. It's worth a lot. You get it. Um, I I'm sorry. Not to compare Cosme to RG3. That's all that can pop in my mind right now. I'm sure there are other better examples. There is not a need to rush this man back. I'm sure he wants to rush back,
Especially with how good the offensive line has been playing.
and the
Out,
potential of his value.
yeah.
He's experienced and he's been there. Let him heal and be healthy. I know that's so much easier said than done, and I get it. Well, Eddie, you go tell him, hey, I will, and then I'm going to run. But still, I'm telling you, patience. It's not something I'm good at, but it's something we need. We have to be patient here because it's for the best for the team. Trust
Now,
me. I wish it was like a video game and we just put him right back in there because when I turn the game off and turn it back on, he's healthy again. I get it. It
go
doesn't
ahead.
work like that. It doesn't work like that.
Now, there are a couple of players who are coming back from injuries that we have to pay attention to. That's why I put it at a 5, honestly. I probably could raise it to a 6, to be honest with you. Lattimore is coming back from an injury. Tunsil's been kind of banged up off and on this entire training camp. Same with Brandon Coleman. Trey Amos, he missed Monday's night game with tight hamstring. Actually, I need to check and see if he practiced today because that's pretty important. But outside of that, man, the team is relatively healthy, especially for just finishing up training camp. So I can say a 5.5. I'll say like is it perfect? No. Is it dire? Nah.
All right. So one more concern. It's already brought up health. I'll tell you.
Trey Amos did practice today.
Did you see looking like well, I can't remember my guy's name. What's our Mariota? Mariota's got like some Achilles ligament damage he's dealing with.
Oh, even him, I heard like he was coming back soon. But I mean, but let's face it, like
Well, I know I just finished hyping up Josh Johnson and him, Mariota, and
nah, if Mariota's playing, we're in trouble. Like
yeah.
it's it's not going to be good. Like I think we can be okay with him, but nah, like it's not. And obviously, I do not know how to spell that man's last name.
Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, I
Uh,
really thought
pretty Mariota. I
that's what
think
I
that's
thought.
it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I put in, but
That's not it.
what is? I guess I put two R and two T's. Oh well. Anyway, I
Yeah,
don't see any.
Mariota. I got it.
No, I put two R and two
Okay.
T's. I
My
think.
bad. All right.
Yeah, he talking to the media and um, oh, he said he expects it to be good for week 1, and he's been.
I'm gonna say that.
He said the
Um,
team's been great giving him time. So yeah.
final concern, and this one I'm anxious to hear your score, only because I think there is not open to interpretation, but with the amount of variables of what I'm going to say, and you'll see. I'm just going to come out and say it. Strength of schedule. We got a tough schedule now, and we had some close games. We converted very well on fourth down for majority of the season. We just we hit on a lot of things. I'm not saying it was all luck, but I'm saying there was some luck that happened based on residue of design. You know, like I said, one of my favorite quotes: "Luck is the residue of design." So I will say that, like, because we practiced and prepared for a lot of the things and situations we got into, it can't be considered just luck, but then luck still kind of was involved. Now, I will just for context that the Ron Rivera playoff year where Taylor Heineke became a legend in the Tampa Bay loss, we had a really tough schedule that year too. But what happened is a lot of the good players on some of those teams got hurt, and all of a sudden, games that were looked at as our tougher games became some of our easier, more winnable games.
I mean, we only won 7 games that year, so
Yeah,
it's not like we were pressure teams.
I hear you, but like,
And
49ers game, the Bengals game, Joe Burrow gets hurt. That's all I'm saying. Those things happened.
I'll say this:
This year too.
a lot of those, like now the end of the season, I was concerned losing, like winning some of those close games, like the Saints game, that was crazy. The
Well,
Cowboys game was crazy.
that never happens again.
Both Cowboys games were crazy that we went blow to blow with them like that, but they are division opponents, so I get it. But the other games, like people always say, "Oh, y'all barely won games," or "Y'all barely did this, barely did that." Are y'all forgetting the Steelers game when they called the pass interference on us or didn't call the pass interference on Zach Ertz when he was getting held or whatever? Do y'all remember the I'm trying to think how many we didn't lose? We only lost 5 games last year. I'm trying to think. We lost to Dallas. We lost to Philly, Steelers, Bucks. Oh, the Ravens game. Like, why is everybody dismissing the fact that we played the Ravens pretty tough in Baltimore last year?
Yeah.
And then if you throw the regular season away, We beat the Bucks in Tampa. Even if y'all say, "Oh, well, you beat Detroit and they didn't have all their starters and this, and that," well, the Bucks did.
What starters didn't they have?
On defense, they were missing a lot of
Yeah, that's a fair
people on
point.
defense.
I take my tongue
But
in.
look, the same offense
They were at
that put
home.
up the same offense that put up 40 on the Lions and Detroit, they put up 23 in Philly on the Eagles.
Yeah.
Who basically shut the Chiefs out in the Super Bowl for most of that game.
We scored more
So
than the Chiefs did.
to answer your question, I'll give your schedule concern a 3 at best. You got to play who you got to play.
Oh, of course.
It's not like Philly doesn't have a harder schedule, and the Cowboys and Eagles have similar schedules. We all got to play them. But guess what? They got to play us too. And their slogan, the Commander's slogan, is literally anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Like, they're obviously not concerned, so I'm not going to be too concerned. But you do bring up a valid point.
I try.
Speaking of valid points, next story. First male cheerleaders for the Minnesota Vikings get support from other NFL cheerleaders. A pair of Minnesota Vikings cheerleaders are dividing the internet. Blasi Chic and Louis Kahn are the first. Is that their real names, young? Blaze Chic and Louis Kahn are the first ever men to join the team's ranks, sparking both support and backlash online. The Vikings organization is defending their cheerleaders. They support all their cheerleaders and are proud of the role they play as ambassadors for the organizations. Eagles cheerleaders, Alex Fan said, "We know what it feels like that somebody doesn't support you simply doing something that you enjoy. And so it's been really a pleasure to be on a team that has multiple boys where we can fall back on, yada, yada, yada." This is the part I was getting to. The first male NFL cheerleaders were introduced in 2018 by the Rams. Today, roughly 1/3 of all NFL teams have male cheerleaders. And yeah, like, it's, for me, nothing burger. Just absolutely nothing burger. I can't even remember the last time I saw a non-Dallas Cowboy cheerleader doing an NFL broadcast, and I'm definitely not looking for him at the games.
Yeah.
So I don't know, bro. I understand why some people might feel some way about it, but I don't know, bro. What you think?
So I've got a lot to say about it because it's sort of one of those two things can be true, and I'm going to probably go ahead and say like 11 things can be true. Maybe, I don't know. I got a lot of thoughts floating through my head here. Obviously both of us, with our age being slightly older, we've kind of maybe seen some of the shift of times, and I'm all for inclusion. I consider myself a fairly liberal person. So one of the things I first looked into, and I was a little surprised at this one. I really was. And I don't say that out of any sort of disrespect or anything. But apparently, roughly 1 in 3 LGBTQ plus adults are NFL fans. Now, that's from 2021, said about 57%.
1 out of 3 is crazy.
Yeah. I was a little shocked at that, but dude, that's cool. Like, I'm not mad about any of that. I don't hate gay people. I don't want gay people or women or anybody in that community to feel ostracized or anything like that. But I get into this kind of thing where, and I'll be honest, what I just said has a lot to to do with contradicting what I'm about to say. I kind of felt like, hey, this is something being forced on people. Like, I get that the NFL is a business as well, and they're trying to appeal to even more audiences. I totally get that. I also understand representation. There was a lot made of I can't remember her name. It was I think a former Pittsburgh Steelers cheerleader, maybe a current one, and very critical. I think obviously the whole "they took my job" kind of thing starts to come into play here. And her sort of op-ed was kind of talking about aspirations of young girls who maybe want to become cheerleaders, and people said, well, what about the dreams of young boys? Does that, you know, who's to say girls' dreams are more important than boys' dreams when it comes to cheerleading? Fair point. Fair point. My issue is there's always been cheerleaders, but they've been typically the base, the guys like throwing the cheerleaders up in the air or holding them up when they do the pyramid thing. And look, hey, these guys had to go through tryouts and they were chosen. Um, if you ever watch the NBA or go to an NBA game, they have all kinds of dance teams that come on the floor, and there's lots of gentlemen on those dance teams that might kind of fit into a similar narrative as these male cheerleaders. The only thing though, just a little bit, I can remember when I was in middle school and elementary school, and you go out for recess or PE, and you're gonna shoot some hoops, or you're gonna like get like some kind of two-hand touch football game going on, and you get the right amount of people for each team, and then somebody else comes along and they're like, "Hey, can I play?" And you're like, "Nah, we already got we got the numbers. Sorry, you'll have to wait." And every now and again, there's that time. I'll never forget this. A couple of kids would go and get the teacher. And these were kind of like the kids that maybe sometimes were excluded or picked on. So that played a part too. But they would come back. They're like, they're not letting us play with them. And we're like, no, that's not the case. We have the numbers for the game. And we told them to wait. They can get the next game because we had already started playing. I feel like there's just a little bit of that going on here. And I hate to, I always tend to bash this guy, and I hate to throw his name around like that, but this feels very Tim Tebow like. I want to play quarterback, so I should get to play quarterback. Now I know that's not what he said, but in a roundabout way, that's kind of what happened. And I get it. He kind of proved us wrong with the Broncos, and they won a plaff game, and
He did
Tebow time
not
and all
prove
that.
us wrong. It's
I
just
know he didn't, Mike. I'm just trying to play
it
devil's
was a
advocate.
fluke. It was a wonderful fluke, but
Well,
it was a
yeah,
fluke nonetheless.
yeah.
A
But
very happy fluke. I was celebrating like a mug, but I understood in that moment, hey, he got really
yeah.
lucky.
But that's just kind of where I'm at. I if these individuals, and I'm trying to use that particular word because I don't know how they identify themselves, so I'm trying to be respectful. But if these individuals want to do that, more power to them. Now, this could be very much like the Taylor Swift thing, where people were up in arms about that last year because she was at games and it was taking away from the game and blah, blah, blah. You got to just get over it most of the time. The TV, I mean, in this case, they might show it because this is a little bit of a lightning rod topic. But I think for the most part, they're not going to be showing the halftime shows. Super Bowl they will, but they're not going to be showing the halftime shows and the all the dancing. There might be some sideline angles and shots that are played during the game, but I don't know. This is just different. Like I was mentioning, I identify as a liberal person typically, but this one I just kind of feel like it's probably not. If they had like that lingerie league still going, couldn't these guys be the cheerleader for that? Oh, that probably wouldn't work. But I don't know. It just feels like, you know, like back in the day, right? And I don't doubt that maybe some of these women didn't want to actually play the sport too. But like if there was like a female kicker on the high school football team, and yeah, they could kick and everything, but a big part of this was like they want to infiltrate men's sports, or no different than a girl trying to join Boy Scouts when Girl Scouts exist. I don't mean to sound sexist, especially as the father of three daughters. I'm not saying women can't do stuff. I'm not saying there can't be some integration of some level on these things, but this is one of those things that's going to take time. But you could be right too. It could just be a nothing burger. I will say there are a lot of people on the internet that are very happy that cis heterosexual males who have reservations about this, maybe a little stronger than I do. There are a lot of people that are very happy that that's going on. I don't quite get why, but I kind of do. So I don't know. It's just weird for me, but I don't mean to say that as like a negative. I know it's hard to make that statement and say, "Oh, well, I'm not being negative." I'm really not trying to be. I feel like this is a little bit forced, but I'm an all-inclusive person, so let's give it a try and see what happens.
Yeah, like I said, I really understand where you're coming from.
Well,
Um,
it's only, and I'm sorry to cut you off there, Mike. It's only because I feel like I said, they might not show the halftime show, but how many times a game do you think we're going to cut to the fact that there's a male cheerleader because the NFL wants to push it?
well, after everybody then talked about it, definitely they about
Yeah.
to
Well, but
show them
it's no
film.
different, like I said, than Taylor Swift, and I don't mean to disrespect her either, or make it in like to some massive negative here, but what I'm trying to get at is, people want to watch the football game. I guess this is like them Kaepernick people. Well, I'm not watching because Colin Kaepernick kneeled. No, I'm still going to watch the games. I'm, just because there's a male cheerleader, I'm not going to not watch the games. But what I'm getting at is the people that turn on the TV to watch the game, they want to watch the game. They don't want to watch, oh, check out this, groundbreaking, male cheerleader, first male cheerleader to be part of the choreography team instead of like like I said, the bass or the throwing up people. I don't know, what would you call those people anyway? The toss up, the throwers. Oh, yeah.
Um, I I can't. I'm not. They didn't say it and bring it on, so I don't know. I'm serious. That's like
What would Kirsten
the
Dunst and Gabrielle Union think of you, Mike? You don't know what they're
it's the
called.
that is the extent of my bring it on knowledge.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I'll say this, and I didn't realize, but this is the number of teams that have male cheerleaders on their team. This is the number of teams. I'm going to list them: the Ravens, the Rams, the Vikings, the Patriots, the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Titans, the Niners, the Eagles, the Commanders, the Seahawks. Now,
The Commanders is. I understand why they say that. It's not what they say. The
I got
Commanders.
that's
It's
I
a
was thinking the
dance
same
team.
thing.
It's not really a cheerleader team. Like
So
these dudes are
there's
doing
levels
go
to
go.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
these dudes are doing go go dances during the games. Like it's
I
not.
got you.
They're on the squad, but they're not necessarily cheerleaders.
And see, that's just
I
to
was
kind
like,
of
when you said
reiterate,
Commanders, I was like, I ain't know.
going off the
Yeah,
article, but I understood that it was going to be like sort of a large net being casted, where maybe even some of those guys I mentioned that were the base and the ones throwing up, they would be kind of fit into that category or lumped in, I guess you could say. Maybe not the best choice of word, but yeah, I think the difference is, so like just what you said, when you have guys that are like, it's more about like the dance, they're doing the go-go dance, or you have like the dance team for the Wizards, and that's more about dance. I saw um like an article, and it had like some videos where like, so the what we're talking about in particular, especially as it applies to the Vikings, these are gentlemen that are wearing cheerleader uniforms. I think the one is actually wearing a skirt. They have pom poms and they're doing cheerleader stuff. They're not dancers necessarily. They're not break dancing, go go dancing, or anything like that. They're doing like cheerleading stuff. But again, there were tryouts. They were judged by their peers, which I'm sure were majority women, and they made the team. So, is what it is. Not like they cheated to get there or something. It's not some DEI hire. So
that's crazy.
sorry, I realize, just to be clear, what I just said, I just had an instant moment. I
I was
said
about to
cheated
say you better
instead
clean
of,
that
yeah,
up.
no. Please, 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 please. When I use cheated and then I said some DEI hire, those two are not the same thing. I am not indicating that anything that has to do with DEI means that that person didn't earn where they got. Please, please, and thank you. That is not what I meant.
You better clean that up.
It, you ever talk sometimes and you're meaning something, and then you kind of like realize when someone shows you're like, hey, this is what was said, and someone could interpret it a different way. That's pretty much what just happened. I was lucky enough to catch it instantly instead of realizing way later. So before I get canceled and the couple of listeners we have just shut me out,
I was about to say we about to go viral for something a whole other reason than
so
sports.
terrible for a variety of reasons. Not just because
This
what
man
I
trying
said
to get us
looked bad,
killed.
and if you looked bad, then communities are hurt. It'd be a whole thing.
All right, let's move on to the next topic then,
Yep,
and the
we're
last
moving on.
topic.
Moving on.
Um,
You wonder.
an old friend of ours,
He's a
Nationals,
dear friend. He's a dear friend.
um, got in some trouble.
Oh,
So
it's a lot of trouble.
Victor Robles, formerly of the Seattle Mariners, formerly of the Washington Nationals, currently of the Seattle Mariners.
Yep.
He's on a rehab assignment. I'm not sure what city he's in. Some West Coast team. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's besides the point. He was suspended for 10 games. And I lead with that because he was suspended for 10 games because he threw a bat at a pitcher.
Oh, he
And
did
I'm
more.
like, and you're like, oh, he threw a bat at a pitcher and he went crazy on the dugout, started throwing stuff on the field. And you might say he deserved everything that he got as far as that suspension goes. You can't throw a bat. That's assault. You threw a weapon at somebody and then went crazy in the dugout. Let me throw this out there though. It was the 5th time that he was hit by a pitch in like the last 3 days. Apparently, 3 of those 5 pitches came from the pitcher that hit him the 5th time. So you got to take that into consideration when you realize why that man snapped. And Eddie has more background on this, so go ahead and take us home, bro.
Yeah. So let's kind of break this down. Rehab assignment. When you hear that, what do you think? What does rehab mean? He's injured or maybe not playing well. Because sometimes you get designated for assignment when a better player becomes available. They were injured, now they're healthy. Got to do some musical chairs. Sometimes you're not playing good, and they've moved you all around the lineup, and they're like, "Hey, we're just gonna send you down to the minors for just a little bit. Let you get your feet back under you." Sometimes you are hurt, and instead of jumping right back into the show where you were, you want to ease it in. You don't want to do a cannonball into the pool. You want to dip your toe and then slowly get. So he's there. He's literally there trying to get better and trying to get back to the big leagues. Now, these other guys are competitive. They're trying to win. They're trying to play hard. But I'll tell you the scary part about the whole minor league thing. A lot of those guys are still being developed. So you got these more or less grown men. Some are young grown men, but they're still men. And especially when talking about the pitchers, they can throw really hard, but they don't have the control, Mike. And that's why they're there, because that's something they're supposed to work on. So I want you to imagine a guy who's trying to get things back together, trying to work his way back from an injury. And instead of getting quality pitches to look at, even if they're not hittable pitches, if the pitcher's having a good game and they're throwing curveballs, breaking stuff, whatever, it's still a better look than getting hit. And I don't just mean that because, like, oh, the pitcher looks bad or oh, whatever. The batter learns nothing by getting hit, especially not multiple times in a row. And I'm trying to find this here, but I think, yeah, in total, in that particular rehab series, so we're talking about 3 to 4 games here, he had been hit 5 times in 15 at bats. So not just the 3 times in the one game, another two times, could have been one each game, could have been two in one game. The dude had been hit a lot, and he had it. Now I understand the other team's trying to win, but dude, after a while, you keep hitting me 3 times in one game is crazy at any level. And I'm not saying the way he reacted is okay, but I'm saying I understand it. Mike, it was a yard sale at that game. He threw his helmet, he threw his bat, he went and got another bat and tried to charge the mound. Players and umpires had to hold him back. He went into the dugout and started grabbing coolers and anything he could get and was throwing it on the field. He flipped out. And I
That's
understand.
hilarious.
I understand, but think about it. The whole purpose of him being there is for him to get right. Now, I understand everybody else on the field, both teams, that doesn't mean they have to sit there and just let it happen or help it happen. No, they should be playing competitive ball too. That's the whole point, is that this is almost like a, not simulation, but something along those lines, again, for that player's benefit. I used to work security for the Peanuts. Michael A. Taylor came back on a rehab assignment, and the other team they were playing, they had this really good guy. I kid you not, this is the guy's name, Sicknarf Loopstock. Sicknarf is Francis spelled backwards. This guy's dad's name was Francis. I looked into it. I believe he's from Aruba. Uh, anyway, old Sicknarf was really good. And the night before the game I'm about to mention, he hit for the cycle. So the next game around, Sicknarf got walked every at bat. Well, Michael A. Taylor is playing for the Potomac Nationals, the team that's walking Sicknarf. Well, they walked Michael A. Taylor. The difference is Michael A. Taylor was going to go back to play for the Nationals. No disrespect to this Sicknarf guy, because he was pretty good, but I don't know that he was going to get called up. The Peanuts manager charged the mound of the other team because he was angry that they kept walking Michael A. Taylor, because Michael A. Taylor does not benefit from being walked in that situation the same way Victor Robles doesn't benefit from being hit over and over again in a minor league game. It makes no sense at all. Now, I'm sure there were, at least warnings, hopefully an ejection when he gets hit 3 times in a row. But I mean, it's just madness. Like, the whole point is the benefit of a minor league or even like a G League is that you can get quality competition that is somewhere in the ballpark of major league level talent, but not so good that you can't ever get back to where you were, or that you lose your confidence, that you get the yips. And I saw this, and Victor Robles actually, funny enough, I'm pretty sure he played in that game I mentioned because he was on the team. So little connection there that I didn't even realize when I was telling that story. But it's not about me. Oh, I used to work there. Like, these guys didn't really they'd say hi, but it's not like I'm like, hey, you want to drive my car? No, none of that stuff happened. I'm just watching the game, doing my job. But I bring it all up because, like I said, Michael A. Taylor was there to get work, there to get better, and they walked him. He benefits nothing. Same with Victor Robles. And I'll go even a step further. Sometimes these guys are frustrated at the situation they're in. They're mad that they got to go down to the minor leagues, even if it's for an injury, to rehab and get better. They don't want to be there. Not to disrespect the minor leagues, but they're like, in their minds, they're like,
Actually, in Fredericksburg, who want to go? I mean, not Fredericksburg. Oh
well,
no, Frederick.
at the time it was Woodbridge because they were the Potomac Nationals, but now
Ugh, that's even worse.
watch your mouth, brother. Anyway, yeah, like, it's no disrespect to the minor leagues, but like, in these guys' minds, it's kind of like they're bummed that they're there in the first place. They're like, man, things aren't going good. And then you're getting hit or you're getting walked all the time. And you're like, all right, this is awesome. So I get it. But now he's suspended 10 games, and I get that too. You can't just go popping off all the time. Kind of reminds me, the video is very grainy, but it's good enough. There's a minor league game, and I think it was BJ. It was one of the Upton brothers. And he gets tossed in a game. This happens all the time. It's an at bat, and you're arguing balls and strikes. He walks away, so you no longer see him on screen, on frame. You see the catcher and you see the umpire, and then you see a bat come flying into the screen and hit the umpire. Now, these guys have padding and a mask and everything, so he was okay. But if you watch the video, those of you who know, if you choose to check it out, or if you know what I'm talking about, you see it. There's a slight level of comedy just because you don't know what's coming, except now that you do, because I told you. But if you watch it, then it just kind of happens. You're like, oh. So I guess silver lining, Victor didn't hit the umpire. He just wanted to hit the other team. Um, yeah,
Wow.
that's it.
No, when you said something about BJ Upton, it made me think about that. Every time I think of Upton, I think of no BJ Upton and his brother. I
Ooh,
think about that Sports Illustrated cover they did with Kate Upton, and just how out of pocket the whole thing seemed.
oh,
You
I'm
know,
sure.
like
I'm
it.
sure.
I was like, why they pose it like that?
They used to get away with stuff back then. These days, there's always somebody watching now. I don't even want
Yeah,
to say brother. Just to add a little bit more to Robles, I didn't realize this. I scrolled down to look. So after he was able to calm down, I'm going to guess maybe a day or two later. I don't know. It doesn't say that part here. Um, he apologized for his actions, and he was citing pressure and frustration of the situation. Like I said, he wasn't having a great stretch for the Mariners. Then you go to the rehab to get better, to get healthy. You're getting hit by pitches, and then Mike, I swear, I just scrolled and I'm looking at this. Think about how we started our show off. Cited pressure and frustration of the situation, including the recent death of his mother.
oh yeah, that'll do it.
So yeah,
You mourning the loss of your mom, and bound to keep hitting you with baseballs.
yeah,
that'll
he
that'll
might have,
cause you to freak out,
yeah, yeah. So
regardless of if you're a professional athlete or not.
yep,
You lose a parent and then try to go do your job
do
and
anything.
purposely, I mean not purposely, they're preventing you from doing it. You're gonna
Yep,
freak out. I've seen families freak out for less. So
yep.
it is what it is. But
Victor, we hope things get better for you, bud. You were part of a championship team and you're not on the team anymore. That sucks, but we're still rooting for you, except when you play us. Get better. Sorry to hear about your mom, man.
and that's it for this week's show. I'll holler at y'all Bama's next week. Sorry for no flashy outro, but we've been on here for an hour and 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard enough of us. Peace
Yep.
out.
Thank you guys. And it's been a pleasure and it will be a pleasure. Thanks to Mike, too. There's a lot we could complain about in this world, but I mean, how lucky are we? We're alive for another day. We get to do a podcast with each other and our wonderful personalities. So, all the time, God is good, and God is good all the time. Thank you. Good
I
morning.
hear that.
You're welcome.
Peace out.